Hello again, this is News Today. My name is Kemini Nyamani Amananai. Former Director of the Narcotics Control Board, KB Constant, has expressed concern over the general fall in moral values in Ghana. He was worried the national values of honesty and integrity have been mortgaged for selfish gains. He was speaking during an event to honor him and his work.
Over the years, I have agonized over how our poisonous, acrimonious political architecture had destroyed not only our leaders, but the nation itself. Every leader has been insulted, vilified, and disgraced. Roll back to Kwame Nkrumah, Kofi Abdul-Buzia, Kutu Achiampon, Hela Reman, Jerry Rawlings, John Kufuor, John Atta Mills, and currently John Mahama. A nation that spawns such quote-unquote useless leaders must be a bogus nation with bogus people. But are we a bogus people? So why are we destroying ourselves? Dirty politics. I have organized over the manner in which we are prosecuting our skewed version of parliamentary democracy, visibly stuffed with arrogance, intolerance, bigotry, corruption, selfishness, and greediness. And why we do not realize that through acts of omission or commission, we are digging our own political graves, especially where our national parliament over the years is becoming a joke because honorable members dishonorably respond more to the whims of their political parties and the pleasures of their stomachs than to the nation Ghana, especially when showboating and playing cheaply to the emotional gallery is taking center stage. I must say that the number of people losing faith in our key institutions is increasing rather ominously.
Now, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education is meeting striking Polytechnic Teachers Association of Ghana members over their almost 2-month strike. The Polytechnic teachers have been on strike for more than 2 months over their unpaid book and research allowance, forcing polytechnics across the country to shut down. And Accra Human Rights Court has ordered the National Labour Commission to resort to a compulsory arbitration with the lecturers, but nothing has been done about the situation as POTEC members remain on strike. Meanwhile, the National Union of Ghana Students and the Ghana National Polytechnic students are calling for the immediate dismissal of the Minister of Education and her Deputy Samuel Kujetu Ablakwa. The Parliamentary Select Committee has declared its desire to meet with the leadership of POTEC to iron out outstanding issues regarding the payment of the research and book allowances. But the two student bodies in the joint statement noted that they had lost faith and confidence in the ability of Professor Nana Opoku Agyemang and Kujetu Ablakwa to resolve issues confronting the sector. Samuel Binfo Dakwa is president for NUGS. He's joined me over the telephone. Hello, Samuel.
Hello.
You're welcome to the program, Samuel.
Thank you very much.
Having the Parliamentary Select Committee express desire to meet with POTEC must come to you as good news.
Yes, it's a good news.
I see. What are your expectations of this meeting?
It's a good news, but the question we need to ask ourselves is, do we have to take the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education to attend to this issue? Polytechnic lecturers have been on strike for more than 2 months now. What have we been doing as a people all these 2 months? Who was concerned? Who cared all this period that our lecturers were on strike? The leadership and in fact the agency or the body that really is in charge of education is the Ministry of Education. And clearly from the time our lecturers went on strike to today, there's not been any clear-cut move or action that sought to brought our lecturers back to the classroom so that they can teach us. Granted, nobody is saying that the lecturers are right or wrong. That's not our position as NUGS. That's not our concern. But at least for the concern for the students of Ghana, the ministry should have acted. Whatever it is.
Do we have
just for the sake? Come again.
Go ahead.
Can you please come again?
Go ahead.
Thank you. For the sake of the students of Ghana, the ministry should have acted, should have come on with something. And based upon this, we feel that the minister really has failed to attend to the concerns of the students, for which reason he really called a minister. But for the people of Ghana, and indeed, it's not only about that. All the various sectors of education are faced with a lot of issues, problems. From basic, school feeding is in disarray. Capitation for the primary education is in array. Just last week, the headmasters of the basic schools in Accra came out to say that they are about closing the schools. Why? Because the little things, the money and the teaching material that they need to take care of our little brothers and sisters down there, they are not forthcoming. Therefore, they are thinking of closing the basic schools. Charles, that's the headmaster for the SHS, also came about 2 weeks ago, that for 3 times now, all the things that they need to take care of education are not coming. Therefore, they also thinking of closing the SHS. Polytechnic has been closed already. UTAD is thinking of going on strike within a few weeks ahead of us. So are we going to have all these institutions closed down from basic to the highest level? What are we doing as a people? And who really is in charge?
But generally, all sectors of the economy have suffered from the ailing economy, if you like. Wouldn't it be unfair to pin this down on the education minister and her deputy when it's actually a general economic situation?
Thank you very much. So is that a reason for all the schools to be closed down? Is there a reason for educational sector to be closed down?
If there is no money for her to do her work, unless you know for sure that she's sitting on some money she's not willing to give.
The ministries, that there are no ministers for them to go to their offices. There are no money for them to buy for. There is no money for all those kind of things. Is there a reason for all the schools to be closed down? In any case, Ghanaians have contributed over 600 million Ghana cedis into gas funds to be used for education. Where has that money gone to?
I want to believe that matter has been dealt with when Richard Nyama won the case against government, and those monies, government is on course in paying those monies. I want to believe that has been dealt with. Let's move away from that and look at the matters at hand. You've called the education minister and her deputy Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa be sacked because they have been unable to deal with the matters in the education sector. Now, the point I'm trying to raise is the matters in the education sector have got to do with money, and I'm thinking as a ministry, when it comes to money matters, she's very much connected to the finance ministry, and so calling for her head would be such an unfair call, wouldn't it?
Thank you very much. It's not an unfair call. What the point you are making is that today, as you told me yourself, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education is meeting the lecturers. Have you heard of any previous meeting between the Ministry of Education and our lecturers who are on strike? Have they been that call? Did we really need to wait to end this one in court? That's why I'm saying that even if the money is not there, we don't care whoever is at the wrong or on the right side. But what we are saying that over the period, what were the actions that really the ministry has taken in addressing this issue that affect our lives? And in that same way, that's why we feel we have not that confidence that we are saying that there has not been any commitment whatsoever to respond to such issue at such a time. And it's only about that.
Samuel, let's look at the brighter side. The fact that the Parliamentary Select Committee is expressed the desire to meet with the lecturers. Expectations of this meeting?
Expectation for the meeting. Our expectation is that there will be some kind of understanding on the side of our lecturers for them to really get to us at the classroom and help us complete all the work that we could not complete for the previous semester. So that those who are supposed to do the answer, they can go ahead and do it. Those who want to do that, enjoy their life in any area, will be able to go and do it. But I'm not sure we're also expecting that the tax issue that they have raised, the ministry also will be silent about forever, and then the Parliamentary Committee on Education will be the one who is going to call them and address it. And that the basic education issue is going to be Parliamentary Committee that are going to call them. There is a minister in charge, and we are expecting them to act as such.
I see. Samuel, thank you very much for your time. Samuel Binfo Dakwa is NUC's president. We're still on education. A lot more agitation from that sector. The Greater Accra Regional Branch of Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools is threatening to close down schools in the senior high education sector following the government's delay in paying subsidies. CHA says it is struggling to effectively manage the affairs of senior high schools across the country due to the delay in payment of subsidies to these schools. The Ghana Education Service earlier disclosed that the first tranche of subsidy payments to government-assisted senior high schools will be effected between July 14 and 19. It's July 21, and the president of CHA, Samuel Ufori AJ, speaking to an Accra-based radio, said government has failed to pay subsidies response a period of 3 terms. The money was to cover expenses such as utilities, maintenance of office equipment and other important items. He indicated that the heads of schools are in a fix, but suggested it is the only option for now.
Options, there are strong indications the school most likely.
Apologize for that, but 2 persons have died from an outbreak of cholera in Accra. Deputy Director of Health for the Greater Accra region, Dr. John Eliezer, says 350 people visited hospitals in Accra to report suffering the disease caused by poor hygiene. The figures were recorded in the last 3 weeks in 4 out of Greater Accra's 16 districts. You're looking at the Accra Metro, which recorded 274 cases, Gan West with 14, Ladade Kotopon with 58, and the Lejekuku Krowo Municipal District with 4 cases. The total of 10,628 cases were recorded by the close of 2011, with a total of 105 deaths. Ghana was ranked 5th most cholera endemic country in Africa after the DRC. Well, let's talk about cholera. Dr. Simpson Boateng is head of Accra Metro Accra Metro Health Directorate, and then we'll speak to him now over the next few minutes. Thank you very much, Dr. Boateng, for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Boateng, what's been our interpretation into the figures we've had already?
Well, it's true. In fact, it's true that there is a cholera outbreak in Accra, and that Accra Metropolitan Assembly has also recorded some cases. Yeah. So what we are saying is the truth.
Hello, Doc. I'm not sure we got that.
No, I say it is true that there is a cholera outbreak.
I understand that is true. We know that for sure. Now the question I'm asking is, you've seen the figures. The rains are still here with us. The sanitation conditions haven't improved because we still do not have anywhere to dump our waste. What is the directorate's interpretation of what things could turn out to be?
Well, the AMA is doing its best, under the circumstances. What we are doing now, we are at we are embarking on some cholera exercises right now at Mesa, Guinness. We are there right now with the task force. So AMA is doing everything to curb the spread of the disease. Right now, we are advising people to, this is from buying from vendors who are exposed their food to the fires and to the weather. We are also advising them that they should wash their hands thoroughly with water anytime they visit the toilet, water and soap. In fact, AMA is doing everything possible.
Except the AMA is not trying to find us a place to dump our waste, and so we are looking for we are fighting for ourselves. We are looking for ingenious ways to get rid of our waste.
Listen to me. AMA has secured a place, to dump this waste. AMA is confronted with a challenge. The challenge is that we have to travel all the way home to dump our waste. But AMA is creating what we call transfer stations, so that during the daytime, the waste can go there, and then in the night, it will be, evacuated to the final disposal site. So AMA is not sleeping at all.
And so how did we get to this point of this cholera outbreak?
Well, we got to the point of this point because, cholera is linked with what we call this toilets. So many houses in the metropolis do not have toilets in them. And that is AMA is advising people to have toilets in their houses. We are on a daily basis prosecuting people without toilets in their houses. So until every house in the metropolis has its own toilet, until we change our way of life, that is, until we stop defecating, indiscriminating to the drains, and not signing on to the, the new waste management principle, that is the PPP, polluter pays principle. And we do all these things, the cholera will be with us.
But it is the same AMA, and I'm happy you mentioned that lack of places of convenience is our #1 cause for where we are now. And you mentioned the fact that the AMA had come up with bylaws that every household should have a toilet facility. And today, for the first time, you're telling me you've been prosecuting. How many cases have we prosecuted so far?
Oh, we have prosecuted close to 8,000 people without toilets in their houses.
And so 8,000 households now would have toilets in their homes?
More than 8,000 now have.
Then we shouldn't be having this problem, Doc.
No, you don't know the number of houses that we have in Accra. We have 117 houses, 1,000 houses in Accra.
With or without toilet facilities?
No, I mean the total number of houses.
Total number of houses.
Yes, and about now I can say, confidently that close to about 50% now have toilets in them. You see, the situation as we are seeing now would have been worse if we hadn't embarked on this path.
I see.
And
then it seems the AMA has relented on its efforts in making sure that.
AMA, listen. AMA has never relented on its effort. AMA is on daily basis prosecuting the people. It is the attitude of the people which is, bringing about all these things.
Let's stay on our wastes. I know that the fact that you're embarking on this project means that you would have a lot more information at your fingertips. The AMA, has the AMA been able to sort out, and by that I mean pay off the waste management companies it owes?
Well, AMA is not owing any waste management contractor. What the figures you see, or the figures the contractors are quoting, are figures which they were owned them before the start of the new program. We have a new program, and since we started the new program, AMA does not pay any contractor. The contractor is given an area to work, and that area he registers the people there, supplies them with beans, and then at the end of the month, he takes money from them. So AMA doesn't pay them at all. What is owed them was accrued before, the start of this new program.
But it's still owing them, or?
Yes, and AMA is making frantic efforts to pay them. Recently, AMA paid them an amount of over 600,000 Ghana cedis. The money was paid to the operators of the landfill site on behalf of the contractors.
Okay. Now let's concentrate on cholera a bit more. What exactly are we doing to make sure that this does not get out of hand when it comes to public education?
Yes, we have intensified the public education. We have the vans going around, educating the public about the do's and don'ts, especially at this time, and not to defecate indiscriminately, and the households to have their own toilets, to wash their hands very well with water and soap and running water. We are also, in addition to all these things, enforcing the bylaw. As I speak with you right now, we are at a place called Mensa, Guinea, and that is where we are doing some action. We are seizing exposed food and destroying them, and I'm sure from here we'll go to other parts of the city so that the cholera will come under control.
I see. Are we expecting to see more cases?
Well, at the rate we are going, I'll be surprised if more cases will be coming because we have intensified our efforts. For instance, we are spraying all the hot spots. You see, places like Agogroshi, Odona area, Big say, Coligono. In fact, we are going at a very high speed.
What are you spraying those areas with?
Pardon?
I'm asking what you're spraying those areas with.
Oh, with disinfectants.
Right.
Because we want to, the role, the fire spray in the transmission of the disease. So if we spray to eliminate them, then the possibility of their transmission will be reduced. We'll
end our conversation here. Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Boateng. Dr. Simpson Boateng is Director for the Accra Metro Health Directorate. Now, Joy News is made in edition of We the People could not come off Tuesday as the Municipal Chief Executive Nii Ephraim chickened out at the last hour after having assured of his participation. Residents who thronged from far and near were disappointed Tuesday morning when the MC, Nii Ephraim, said he couldn't make it. Jahunyan spoke with some of these residents.
Authorities that are unfortunately missing at the moment. We had a meeting with the district chief executive earlier on this morning, and he told us that unfortunately the program had to be cancelled because some key personalities in the assembly would not be able to make it this morning. This include the presiding member, the chairman of the subcommittee on finance, and the chairman of the subcommittee on health, as well as works and housing. And for this reason, these people that have been gathered here this morning to actually interact with their leaders, with their local authority leaders, would not get the opportunity. We have been assured by the assembly that next week, Tuesday, this would come on, but we only hope we can go with the assurance. As you can see, a number of people are here. I'm going to speak to some of them and find out exactly what their expectations were coming here, and also what they think about the situation that has arisen this morning. Good morning, sir. Let me speak to you. I'm from Joy News. My name is Jahunyan. You came here this morning expecting a forum, expecting a dialogue. Without two people, there can't be no dialogue. What are your sentiments on this, and what were your expectations as you set out this morning to the AME Zion Church in Winneba?
Well, my colleagues and other statesmen told me that there is going to be a program this morning. But unfortunately, when we got there, we just heard the word that the program would not see the light of the day. So, in actual sense, we are not aware of exactly what is coming to us. So, we also decided to call it a quit.
We're getting word from the assembly that possibly next week, Tuesday, they would be able to make it for this program. Would you be interested in coming again to see what they have to say?
In actual sense, what should have done, the elders were all to be invited. As of now, there's no proper invitation, so we are not aware whether maybe they are going to correct their mistakes and then come over again. So the elders will be meeting maybe over the weekend to decide whether they need for us to show up or not. So time will tell.
And you live in this municipality, you live in this community. What are some of the issues or some of the questions that, as a community leader, you think the people would need answered?
Well, I don't think I'll try and jump over the gun, because who would have wished that, assuming the program has started, the introduction that will give us the lead, they will exactly know the sort of questions or whatever that we have to come up with. So, for the meantime, we would like to share our expectations for now.
Thank you very much, sir. So, shelving of expectations, as he also walks out of the church premises where we're actually supposed to hold the We the People First Town Hall meeting. There are also some more gentlemen over here, some elderly gentlemen. He's going with quite a chunk of people. That is his entourage. The entourage of elders walking out of the church premises at the moment. But we have some young men also, and a young lady as well. Let me just interrupt you in your walking, sir. Sorry. Hi, my name is Jaho. I'm coming from Joy News. You came this morning. You had your shower. You said goodbye to your wife and children.
Right, and let's get to the telephone and talk about participatory democracy now with Eric Odrosai. He's a local governance expert. Eric, you're welcome to the program. How important is citizen participation in democracy?
Thank you very much, and then good afternoon to your listeners and viewers. Participation is the central point of local governance because local governance had to do with bringing governance closer to the people. And governance is a process. It's a two-way affair. The citizens would have to make their inputs. The duty bearers would also have to provide the services. The citizens would also have to communicate back to the duty bearers that the services you provided are okay. We are okay with the services you provided. So it's a two-way affair. So citizens' participation is so critical that the basic way to measure good governance is effective citizens' participation. And that is the fulcrum of Ghana's local government system.
I see. And so when there is a platform where all of these, the aforementioned by you, could happen, and then we have duty bearers cancelling out at the 11th hour, what sort of impression does it send out to the people?
To start with, I may not know why it was cancelled.
Well, because a few of the MCE could have made it, but the MCE decided that because his subcommittee chair, 3 of them could not come, he had to cancel the program.
Well, I think maybe the topics or the issues to be raised or discussed at that meeting can best be responded to by the subcommittee chairperson. That notwithstanding, I would discourage and advise all local government practitioners to avoid cancelling such meetings because it is long overdue. Citizens they have yearned for this platform for a very long time. So that if you give them the opportunity and you cancel it last minute without giving them any tangible reason for cancelling it, it demotivates them in participating in local governance and it sends a bad signal to effective local governance. I would encourage the chief executive involved to go back to the drawing board, the drawing desk, and then get back to these people and then give them the reason why he cancelled it. And almost immediately within the next week or two, organize the meeting because it doesn't send a good signal for the assembly itself, the chief executive himself, and the government in general.
I see. How dangerous is it for any administration to take steps that seems as though, or take steps that seem as though you're taking away the participation of the residents, the participation of the locals, or the participation of the citizens? How dangerous is such a move?
Yeah, it is dangerous to the extent that it undermines the effectiveness of local government and the local participation in governance. Again, it tramples on the rights of the individual to be involved in the governance process. And again, it also connotes the fact that decentralization is meaningless. So it should never be promoted. Citizens should become the key and then the core people to be involved in the governance process. So if you try to deny them the right on such platforms, what you are invariably doing is centralization, which is not accepted, which is frowned upon by our constitution and our local government laws. So I would use this your medium to advise all actors of local government that citizens' participation is critical. They should organize it. And it is not for nothing that the Ministry of Local Government has an assessment tool, performance assessment tool, that assesses the performance of local government in the areas of local democracy and by implication the extent to which they involve the citizens, so that the assemblies who are not involving citizens in the governance process are punished. We punish them by not giving them certain resources under what we call the district development facility. So it is a dangerous precedent to set, and I'll discourage people from doing it, and I'll condemn this particular act.
Thank you very much for your time. Eric Ojosai is a local government expert. Now, one way nutrients are lost in food is when you cook them. Unfortunately, some crops have to be cooked for longer periods before they become edible. A nutritionist with the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences believes the cooking period of such foods could be reduced by breeding varieties with specific traits using biotechnology. She's been addressing a debate organized by the African Nutrition Society on whether GM technology could promote nutrition-sensitive agric.
Dr. Linley Chiwon-Carlton argues biotechnology tools such as marker-assisted selection and genetic modification technology allow targeted selections which then help scientists to breed for crop varieties that contain desirable nutrients. The nutritionist says breeding varieties with reduced cooking time could also prove useful in retaining nutrients in foods.
I look at these more interestingly from my point of view, especially as we're transitioning, both in terms of diets, but also in terms of rural-urban conditions, that the time for women or even households to prepare the food is becoming less and less, at the same time as you're seeing that sometimes we're changing the diet because we're thinking, I don't have the fuel wood, the energy to prepare these beans or to prepare these foods because they take a long time to cook. So if we could use some of these tools in biotechnology to shorten some of these processes so we have shorter cooking times, we can contribute definitely towards some of these nutritional outcomes as well.
Representatives of anti-GM group Food Sovereignty Ghana typically highlighted the potential health risk of GM foods. The group is also concerned the introduction of the technology could be attempt by multinational companies to take over the seed market in Ghana to the detriment of rural smallholder farmers.
One question is whether we have control over the food. Let us be quite clear. When we increase the quantities, we are increasing the money that is acquired by the agribusinesses in their pockets. It is not about the sufficiency of the food within our country. And in Ghana, we import 1 billion worth of rice.
Jim Gaffney of GM Seed Manufacturing Company, DuPont Pioneer, however, contends fears over seed patents are misplaced.
We have no intention of taking over the seed market. All we're asking is that we are allowed to create more options for farmers, for smallholder farmers. Our technology in no way can displace the risk management that the smallholder farmer across Africa is good at today. All the agronomic practices that farmer knows today has to be part of any production system, and improved agronomic practices that go along with a new hybrid or a new seed variety is all about what we're trying to do as far as help that farmer be more successful. So we're just trying to create more options for the farmer.
The debate, organized by the African Nutrition Society, exposed the mistrust opponents of the technology hold against foreign seed manufacturers and regulatory officers in the country. Assurances from the representative of the Biosafety Committee that there would be strict adherence to safety standards failed to appease the anti-GM campaigners. The researchers meanwhile maintain that GM technology is one of several options that could be explored to deliver food and nutritional security for hungry, malnourished populations.
I'll take a quick break. When I come back, I'll tell you what's in trending in the world of business. Don't go away. Well, the Africa Center for Energy Policy has called on government to facilitate more comprehensive governance reforms pertaining to oil contracts if the country is to be a model of good petroleum resource management. According to ASAP, government should demonstrate good faith beyond the new anti-corruption clause in its petroleum agreements. A statement from ASAP, however, commended government for its bold architecture in providing elements in the PA that seek to eliminate corruption, especially through bribery or inducements of public officials, politicians and political parties. It recognizes the new features in the petroleum agreements that can help to increase fiscal and non-fiscal benefits, including the removal of the stabilization clause that allows for the implementation of new laws and regulations, the introduction of capital gain tax and cost ring fencing. The statement goes on to say that ASAP has called on government to strengthen the country's anti-corruption agencies to identify, investigate and expose corruption in the emerging oil and gas industry. They urge government to detect the practice of rushing to Parliament for the approval of petroleum agreements and rather facilitate the early passage of the Petroleum Exploration and Production Bill to stem abuse. More Labour stories here. Labour economist Charles Opoku says government can avert the strike by organised labour if it really wants to. Organised labour has indicated it would embark on a day's strike on Thursday because of harsh economic concerns and the depreciating cedi. Government, on the other hand, has described demands by organised labour as unrealistic, explaining the issues raised cannot be addressed immediately. But speaking on Business Live on Joy News, Charles Opoku said government has a duty to address the concerns of these workers.
To Ghanaians, if you want me to give a summary, that's what I'll say. Because if you decide that you are going to be the head of the economy, and you begin to promise, then make sure that when you have said at time A, I will do project X, at time A, do project X. The moment you begin to do that, then people will have confidence in you. So even if you say, I'll pay you in 10 years' time, because of the confidence I have reposed in you as a government, I will agree and wait until the 10-year period. Unfortunately, that has not been the case. We have had promises upon promises, source cutting upon source cutting. Nothing seems to be working. People have seen that you promise, you don't deliver. Therefore, now if you are promising, I don't have trust in it. Therefore, I will not help you to do what you want to do. That is exactly what we are seeing.
Chief Executive of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Fred Moore, is asking government to clearly tell Ghanaians how it intends to finance projects whose funding has been snuffed following government's decision not to pursue the remainder of the $3 billion Chinese Development Bank loan.
Minister said Tekpe in his supplementary budget indicated government will now take only half of the $3 billion it had originally contracted due to new conditions introduced by the Chinese. Government says the terms of the loan are no longer satisfactory because the Chinese are demanding more oil than government is willing to offer in exchange. Communications Minister Dr. Mane Boama indicated on Newsfile government will soon announce a replacement for the $1.5 billion that is no longer coming. For the CEO of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, Fred Moore, how to finance the remaining projects is key.
If you look through the minister's document about why it is being halved, then I tend to agree with him about the reasons why it's been halved. Because the original intention of the loan was to provide that service, and it wasn't linked to anything. Once it was the CDB wanted to link it to oil, the issue was, as the oil prices go up, we will be paying even more than we needed to. And in that sense, you could actually commend the government in taking the decision that they made. If the question is, could we have got the 1.5 billion somewhere else? With hindsight, everybody has got a 2020 vision. We are where we are today. When the decision was taken, I presume we didn't know all the factors that could have affected it. So I tend to give them the benefit of the doubt.
He also asked government to judiciously use borrowed funds.
In terms of the review, it was silent on what they were going to do about it. I would like to hear more from the minister about what the plans are. What I suspect, if I was in his shoes, is to begin to try and find alternative resources to do the same project, because you and I know from the beginning of the year the oil prices have shot through the roof, which has affected the fuel pumps. If we had given that money to the company, they would be laughing all the way to the bank and would be crying all the way to the poverty. So I think in that sense it was actually a bold and a courageous decision to make.
Although it is unknown which specific projects will suffer with the move, the $3 billion was for financing projects such as the Takoradi Kumasi Western Corridor Infrastructure Project, the second Free Zone project, the ICT Enhanced Surveillance project for the Western Corridor Oil and Gas Enclave project, among others.
That's it for business. Benedict Owusu will come up next with sports news. Don't go away.
A very good afternoon to you wherever you are. This is News Today, and it's now time for sports with me, Benedict Owusu. In our very first story, ex-Black Stars captain Steve Napier has exclusively revealed that he is keen on playing active football again after some years off the pitch. The former Juventus player has been a free agent since leaving Serbian side Vojvodina 2 seasons ago. The 33-year-old announced his international retirement after the 2010 World Cup, but insists his club football has not come to an end.
No, I haven't announced my retirement yet. As the saying goes, never say never. Until I haven't announced my retirement, anything can happen. I'm still training, as you can see. I'm still fit. We will see what will happen.
So from one Black Stars captain, former Black Stars captain, we move to another former Black Stars captain, that's CK Akono. And according to him, his sour experience as coach of Accra Heartland is making it difficult for him to take on any other coaching job. The Phobians terminated the contract of Akono 2 years ago, and since then, the former 11 Wise coach has not taken up any job. In an exclusive chat with Joy Sports, Akono noted that the circumstances in which he left Accra Heartland, has really taught him a big lesson on making his next move.
I have been reserved, or I'm a bit cold about the coaching issue because of, first of all, what happened with me, Hearts of Oak, and also our perception, the way we think and about the game. And sometimes you talk to a member of a team and you are not encouraged by the kind of things you hear. But it doesn't mean I have stopped. I'm still interested in coaching. I want to do it, but I want to do it at the right time, and I want to be sure of the person, if I'm connected, if they have the same philosophy, if we share the same ideas. We might differ from ideas, but we must always meet somewhere.
Are we likely to see you soon? Sure. That's former Accra Heartland coach CK Akono, and now we still stay with the local scene and we'll do some more stories. And former Tema Youth coach Prince Owusu have been appointed as the new coach of Midday SC to replace Carlos Alberto Paulette. The young technical trainer is said to have signed a 2-year deal with the club on Monday night after meeting with club president Moses Amapaka. Owusu, a former Ghana under-20 assistant coach, has been tasked with building a crash squad ahead of the start of the new season. The trainer is famed for honing talent of mushrooming players and will be expected to build a dynasty at the club. Announcing the appointment, Mediama chief Moses Ama told MediamaSC.com, that's the official site of the club, that Prince Owusu, we have secured the services of one of the most exciting coaches in the game today. And Ghana defender John Boy will sign a 3-year contract with Turkish side Kayseri Ekrispor today after passing a medical. The 27-year-old, who courted controversy at the just-ended World Cup, will move from French side Rennes on a free transfer. The Ghanaian defender had a successful medical with the club on Monday afternoon at the Bakokoy Akabadem Hospital in Istanbul. This paves the way for him to sign the bumper 3-year contract with the ambitions club after arriving in the country on Sunday. He will wear the number 7 jersey for the upcoming season, and Ghana's leader in exclusive chat that was revealed on news portal Ghana SoccerNet. So we still stay with Ghanaian players, and Ghana goalkeeper Adam Kwarase is likely to leave Norwegian side Strømsgodset for an adventure in Sweden after failing to reach an agreement over his expiring contract. This comes after their latest negotiation, the fourth in 2 months, over his expiring contract ended without an agreement. 3 top Swedish sides are reported to be monitoring the situation in the captain of the Norwegian champions to sign him if he decides not to extend his contract. Now, Kwarase's contract with the club expires at the end of August, which means he will leave the club as a free agent. Strømsgodset are keen on keeping Kwarase, but their financial terms falls far below what the Ghana goalkeeper expects, having improved his status with international football with the Black Stars. So now we do some more stories and now more transfer news. And now James Rodriguez, that's in our part of the world, we will call him James Rodriguez because he has passed his Real Madrid medical ahead of his official unveiling as the club's new signing at the Bernabeu this afternoon. That's according to reports in Spain. Both ASP and Marca reports that the Colombian attacker, who turns 23 years, will be presented at the stadium, that's the Bernabeu, later today. That's 8 p.m. local time upon completing his move from Ligue 1 side Monaco on a 6-year deal for a fee of around 80 million euros. James, that's James, will wear the number 10 shirts vacated by Mesut Ozil's move to Arsenal last summer. He will join World Cup winner Cruz as a high-profile arrival in this transfer window for Real Madrid. Now, the former Porto player claimed the Golden Boot with 6 goals in Brazil as Colombia reached the quarterfinals, and his strike against Uruguay in the round of 16 was voted the goal of the tournament. He is scheduled to join up with his new teammate for their preseason tour of the USA after being presented to the fans in the Spanish capital. Meanwhile, James Rodriguez has won the World Cup goal of the tournament for his sensational volley against Uruguay. So good move for James Rodriguez moving to Real Madrid. And just imagine how this next season's La Liga, that's the El Clasico is going to be like. Now you've got Barcelona signing up Luis Suarez. You've got Lionel Messi already in there, Neymar, and now guess the lineup for Real Madrid. Cristiano Ronaldo will be in there, James Rodriguez, and you have Benzema, you have Gareth Bale. Well, it promises to be an exciting season ahead. That's it for sports with me, Benedicto Owusu, on News Today. Make sure you stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the news with Kemini.
So on Saturday, Ghanaian award-winning hip-hop artist proved that he was worthy of his latest accolade of Best African Rapper. The rapper, together with his colleagues, put up a masterclass concert at the Alliance Française over the weekend, earning the respect of many fans and critics alike.
Ghanaian hip-hop acts have for years pushed to get the attention of mainstream music lovers. But if the bar concert at the Alliance Française is anything to go by, then it appears their efforts have paid off.
If you think about it for long enough, you gon' get it. But you gotta work. I told my niggas, hold on, you gon' be there in a minute. But you gotta work. If you think about it for long enough, you gon' get it. Work. Make some noise for Caesar.
The bar event, described as a fusion concert, did just that as one act after the other served the audience with a variety of tunes ranging from hip-hop to dancehall.
Today you hit your chest like you forget. It is our, it be God, we get the power. Bless you in my shower, make me sweet, come on.
EL and his team at BBMZ are promising another major concert in December, which will feature some international acts, including Lauryn Hill, former member of Fugees.
Ready or not, here I come.
Well, that'll be all for the before I go, I look again at my top stories. The former director of the Narcotics Control Board, KB Quinston, has expressed concern over the general fall in moral values in Ghana. Residents of Ifutu Municipal Assembly expressed disappointment after MCE for the area, Niefrim, pulled out. The 11th hour of Joy News is made in edition of We the People. Religious leaders in Sierra Leone criticized the government's handling of an Ebola outbreak that has killed 194 people in the West African country. Find more news on myjoyonline.com. Thank you very much for staying through. My name is Kimini Nyamani Amana. Good afternoon.